Good morning. I have been thinking about how my husband and I did financially during the past decade from 2010 to 2019. Now that we are in 2020, we started a new decade. I wanted to reflect on how we perform financially during the past decade, and I went back to my my financial document to see, how well or poorly we did. And I noticed that, and I talk about it a little bit in the New Year resolution as well. And I noticed that the first 5 years of the past decade, we made very poor decisions. I have my notes here so that I can just make sure that I'm covering everything that I wanted to talk about. So the first 5 years, we made very poor decisions financially, and we spent the next 5 years from 2015 from 2015 to 2019. We spent those 5 years to clean it up. So let me share with you how poorly we started and how we try to fix it, because here is the thing: you cannot improve your finances, you cannot increase your income, you cannot create multiple sources of income, multiple streams of income if you are in financial mess. So you need to get your finances in track before you start thinking about multiple ways you can generate revenue. That way, the more you earn, it does not necessarily mean that the more you spend. The more you earn, the more you'll invest. So from 2009, just in 2009, my husband and I, we had a combined credit card debt of $19,000. Mine was over $7,000 and his was over $12,000, and that $12,000 was a scam, internet marketing scam, that we just got a call about teaching us how to make money online, because I didn't have a job at that time, and we fell for it. And he paid with credit cards, and that's what that $12,000 were there. So it was more than that. And our total debt, credit card debt, right from the start, right before the beginning of that decade, was, and it just happened within few months. In 2009, our debt, credit card debt, was $19,000, and our income at that time was $27,000 a year. And I didn't have a job at that time. I worked at the beginning of 2009, but not at the end. So our combined income for 2009 was about $27,000, and we have $19,000 credit card debt. In 2010, our credit card debt combined went up to $26,000, well over $26,000, and our income combined around that time was still around $27,000. So in 2013, our combined credit card went up well over $30,000, and our income combined at that time was between $33,000 to $38,000, the gross income. And yeah, so you can see how we got ourselves deeper and deeper in credit card debt. In 2011, because of the income we were making, at that time I was working part-time earning minimum wages. My husband leased a car in 2011, and the car, because it was brand new, the value was about $22,000. So it was a debt. It was, even though he leased it, it was a debt. It was in his name. And around that same year, his student loan was a little over $15,000. So between 2010 and 2013, our combined debt, including credit cards, car, and tuition, our combined debt was over, or if I put it in plural, our combined debts were over $67,000. And our combined income around that time frame, I would say, was an average $38,000 a year, the gross income. In 2014, I found a full-time job, and our combined income went up to $62,000 gross before tax. And we purchased a house. The mortgage that we took out was about $117,000. In 2019, few months before the end of that decade, due to a scam, my husband has a credit card debt of $15,000, $15,500 something. So yeah, a little bit over $15,000 credit card debt right at the end of 2019. So if I total all those debts from 2010, from 2010 or from 2009, I would say from 2010 to 2019, our combined debt was $199,757. And in 2019, our combined income take home was $61,000, but our gross was $90,000. So you can see how what we take home is well below our gross. So you can see that from 2010 to 2019, our total debt of $199,757, we might just say $199,000 of debt. Our income ranged from the same time frame, 2010 to 2019. Our combined income ranged from $38,000 to $90,000 gross income combined, or $30,000 to $61,000 or $62,000 net income during that same time frame. So how did we try to clean it up? You can see that we accumulated most of our debt between the first half of that decade, from 2010 to 2014, when we purchased the house, and in 2019 it was that $15,000 scam. So we accumulated most of our debt within the first 5 years, and we spent the next 5 years after I found my full-time job, and our income went up to about $62,000 take home after tax a year. We decided to take our finances seriously, because we wanted to stop living from paycheck to paycheck and to start creating multiple streams of income. So we became very serious. We didn't become very serious right at the start, but we improved over time. But let me tell you how we pay off those debts and how much we paid. From 2013 to 2017, we paid a total of, that does not include the mortgage, even though we purchased the house in 2014. I'm just going to talk about the debt first. We paid well over $51,000 of debt, And I don't know if you remember, we have over $67,000 of consumer debt. That include credit card debt of $30,000. I'm just rounding number there, and lease card of $22,000 and $15,000 of student loan. So out of that $67,000, we pay $51,000 from 2013 to 2017 with our combined income that range from $33,000 a year to $62,000 a year during that time frame. In 2018, the first 4 months of 2018, we pay over $16,000 of debt. So that is the total $67,000 consumer debt we pay off from 2013 to 4 months into 2018. We paid that $67,000 off. So in 2018, the first 4 months, we pay $500 in credit card debt, $4,900 in car loan, and $10,600 in student loan. We can see that when we start paying, we pay the credit card first, and then we tackle the car loan, and finally we move to the tuition. So we pay $16,000, well over $16,000, the first 4 months of 2018. In 2018, by the end of 2018, we pay about $14,000 in mortgage loan, and that's the principal amount that we paid. So that brings our total debt paid in 2018 to over $30,000, and our income during that time frame was $90,000, the gross, or $68,000 net, and that's the combined income a year. In 2019, we paid over $39,000. That include $1,400 of the credit card, the $15,000 credit card debt that happened in 2019. We pay $1,400 of that amount, and we pay over $37,000 in mortgage loan. So that brings our total paid in 2019 toward debt to well over $39,000, and our income, our gross was $90,000, and our net was $61,000 combined for the year. And as you can see, from 2013 to 2018, right at the beginning of 2018, we paid $67,000 of consumer debt, and from the remaining, and if we want to tackle for the same time frame, from 2013 to 2019, we paid well over $120,000, and I will say that we pay about $133,000, because around the numbers it totaled to $120,000, but we pay about $133,000 of debts during that time frame from 2013 to 2019, and our income during that time frame was from $33,000 a year combined income to $90,000 combined income a year, and that's a gross, or an average of $30,000 net a year to $61,000 combined income take home pay a year. And so you can see how we spend the next 5 years paying those debts, and at the end of 2019 we are left with about $66,000 of debts, and that includes $14,000 of credit card debts that happened at the end of 2019, and about $52,000 of mortgage. Out of that $117,000 mortgage loan, we paid don't know if I can find the total number here, but we pay we have only $52,000 left. So that means we pay well over $65,000 toward our mortgage. And so 117 minus 52, you'll see that we pay well over $65,000 in mortgage, and then we pay $67,000, well over $67,000 of consumer debt, and then that last $15,000 credit card debt we pay $1,400 there as well. So that brings our total debt paid to $133,000 rounded, and we have $66,000 left when we start 2020. So how did we pay all those debts with the income we brought home? We tried different methods, but I'm just going to list the 15 methods that help us achieve that. The reason why my total pay was about 120 when it was actually 133,000, but like when the way around it was about 120,000, but then the total pay was about 133,000 is because at the beginning we kept using our credit cards. Even though we have debt on it, we are trying to pay it off, we kept using them without paying the full amount that we charge every month. So we kept using it, paying it, using it, paying it. So the credit card debts fluctuated. I think it took us all to 2017 for us to say that was enough. We are not going anywhere making that mistake. So we need to stop using the credit card. Unless we are going to make any purchase online, we need to save for that purchase, use the card, turn around and pay that purchase. So it took us some years before we really stopped using the credit card, so that we can really make an impact on the debt. So what works for us is we stop using credit card for purchases. The second things we did is we did that early. We fixed an amount that we wanted to pay toward the credit card, like $350. So every month you'll pay that amount, even if the minimum went down. And we are doing the same thing until we decided that we are going to organize the credit cards from the highest balance to the lowest balance, pay the minimum on each one of the highest balance, and put all the extra, the remaining of the $350 toward the lowest balance. And we did it like that until we pay all the credit card off. And one thing we did with the credit card as well is I called the companies to see if they can lower my interest. Some of them did it, so that helped. Sometimes my husband did that a lot. We transfer what we think we can pay within a year. We transfer that from a credit card to a 0% credit card, so that we can save on interest and we'll pay off within 12 months. We use that strategy as well. And we pay the minimum on all the debts, the tuition, the car, the credit card. We pay minimum on all the debts and tackle the credit card first. And then within the credit card, we started with the lowest balance and moved to the highest balance until we pay all the credit cards. And when my credit card were paid off first, the amount, that $350 that I was using to pay my credit card, we move it to add it to what my husband was using, that $350 that he was using. So pretty much it became $700 that we spent on the credit card. So that's how we did it for a while. So we move after my credit card was paid, we moved that amount that we used to use to pay my card, we added to what my husband was using to pay his card, and we continue like that. So, and after a while, we decided that we are going to stop. I'm jumping here, but we decided that we are going to live on one income and use the other income to pay the debt, instead of using just a fixed amount to pay the debt. So we stop giving gifts to families, members, adults. We stop giving them gifts so that we can lower our expenses. We stopped buying toys, gifts to our kids for birthday and Christmas. We just gave them money. We stopped eating out. And in 2017, we went out once on my husband's birthday, I believe, at the beginning of the year. And then we decided that it was 2017 that we really made an impact on we really made a big decision financially. We decided that we are going to stop going out for those special occasions. And we went out in 2017 once. We didn't go out in 2018 or 2019 to eat at the restaurant or anything like that. So we stopped eating out, and we live on the highest income at the beginning that pay for our living expenses and our mortgage every month, and then we use the lowest income to pay the debts. Instead of just using the fixed amount, we use one whole income to pay the debts. And then when all the debts were paid off by early 2018, we stay on the highest income for a month or two, and we save the lowest income, the full month's lowest income. We put in the saving, and then after that month, we switch. We started to live on the lowest income one month prior. So we live on last month income, now on the current income, because my husband get paid twice, get paid every 2 weeks, and I get paid, he gets paid every 2 weeks, and I get paid at the end of the month. And we wanted to use 1 month of income for our budget, so we save 1 month of his income. After we are done using that income to pay the debts, we save 1 month of his income, and then we made the switch. We start living on his income, and we use the highest income, or my income or the other income, to pay the mortgage. And if our business, any of our businesses need some fundings, then we'll take a little bit out of that income to do that. Otherwise, it went in full toward the mortgage payment after we are done paying credit cards and all the other debts. So we stop paying, during that transition, we stop paying ourselves first. What did I mean by that? We have Roth IRAs, we have brokerage account. We stop investing toward those things so that we can lower our expenses and have enough to pay the debts. We didn't stop contributing to our employers' 401k. So we did that all to the maximum that the employer will match, and that's it. My husband even contributed toward his company's stock to the maximum that the employer will match as well, and he stopped. So we contributed to our employer 401k, our employers 401ks, but we stopped investing in Roth IRA and brokerage account. Once in a while, we save our own allowances to do that, but we didn't really budget for that anymore while we are paying the debts. Another thing that worked for us is we stopped using the checking account to buy groceries. We set a dollar amount for our groceries, $375 for our family of 5, or our household of 6, because I have one of my parents living with us. So we spend $375 on groceries every month, and we will take it out and put it in an envelope. If I spend less in a month, I will save the rest in another envelope, and I will take another $375 out for the following month. So if there is a sale, I will use what I saved to buy those sales so that I can stock up, because we didn't save 3 to 6 months of our income as emergency fund before we start paying debts. We just went straight into it. And I decided that I will stock up on food so that I have 3 to 6 months of food supplies, food staples at home. That's how I did it. And before that, we used the checking account for groceries, and when there is a sale, I will buy more of that item, and that made my budget fluctuate quite a bit. My grocery budget fluctuate quite a bit. That affect our checking account, because a month I will spend way more than $275 because there is a sale, and I will buy a lot. But here's the thing, there will always be a sale of something. by limiting myself to the grocery budget. If I don't save enough for sales, I just miss it. I don't buy anything. It happened in December 2019 when I didn't save enough for the annual grocery haul that I have done in the past using my husband employee discount. Then we just went there with 275 to spend, and I didn't even want to spend all of that because they were for different categories. Only $200 were for food. So, and I decided to spend up to that amount, and that's what we did. That's all I could afford, even though I have the chance to save 25% on those staples that I don't find on sale during the year. I was not able to buy them. So that's how I limit myself, by taking cash out for groceries and not touching the checking account. But sometimes when we buy meat from the family farm and we don't have enough saved in meat budget, I will take it out of the saving, because we save for irregular expenses. We have money there to maintain the house and all those. We'll take it out of there, but then the next few months we won't take anything out for meat. Meat will pay back to the saving account. We have done it in the past. That's how we decided to help ourselves decrease our expenses so that we can pay off those debts. And if you don't, you will see that when I was talking about those incomes, I talk about how much you are making as well. By not tracking those information, it will be hard for you to know how poorly you did before and how well you are doing now. So it's very important you track your annual income, and one way you can do that is by going to your Social Security account and retrieve all those information. And I have a spreadsheet on my website, Track Your Income, that you can download and list all those income. That will help you know how much you are making at any certain time in the past. And by doing budget, you'll be able to track how much you spend during the year, or during the month, and by the end of the year you know how much you spend for the whole year as well. So that will help you know how much you pay toward your credit card during some time frame. That's how I was able to retrieve those information, and I was very surprised to know that from 2010 to 2019 we accumulated over $199,000 of debt. And they happened during the first 5 years, and we spent the next 5 years to pay over $133,000 with our income that ranges from $33,000 a year to $90,000 a year as gross income, or $30,000 a year to $61,000 a year as net income. And as you can see, if you track your incomes, you budget, and you track your expenses and your take-home pay, you know how much your income is, how much you take home, because it can be quite different from your gross income. And as of our combined income is $90,000, we bring home about $61,000 a year. Thank you for watching. I'm Afiavi Ninette Ojune. I'm Afiavi Ojune Marie Ninette Libreman, creator of Marie Ninette Libreman YouTube channel and owners of Nina Soap. And my website is ninasoap.com. I urge you this beginning of 2020 to take control of your finances, to start paying off your debt, and start thinking about how you can improve your income, how you can create multiple streams of income, and how you can increase your wealth.